me a certain way. You're going to treat me based on what I bring to the table. Okay, I'm good at what I do. You're gonna pay me my money. Okay, you're gonna do me what I'm doing, and you're gonna treat me right. I say so. I believe we need to be specifically focusing on making sure they understand that we don't like the harm that they have done to us and everything, and I'm gonna hold you accountable in correcting that, and which eventually, uh
My
oh.
bad. I was just making sure everything was working.
Oh, that was time. The timing of that was good. I like that. It was good. No, but to keep it 100, the deal is that a person respect you based on how you navigate and how you communicate with them, man. And if all they think that you got your hand out, no, no, no. I'm handling my business. Okay, I'm doing what I need to do. You gonna give me my respect. Okay, and in the meanwhile, if that leads to me, I mean, Joe, I just think the only reason that I was able to win my lawsuit is because I didn't play victim. Does that make sense? They
Absolutely.
decided to wrongfully terminate me, and they thought they was dealing with the what? They thought I Video from the
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We were trying to make sure we had it all together. So here we go. Welcome. Did y'all want to let people come in a little bit, Boss Lady? You want to go ahead and get started and let them listen to the playback?
We could share the space out one more time. Because the last one did get interrupted and I was sharing that space out.
Okay, let me go ahead and put it in.
But I know the gentleman was having a conversation. I was kind of intrigued by the conversation. If they
you want us to go back there? Yeah,
sure.
Go ahead and get on it before we can let people feel.
Yeah. So we can. We was talking about. I was in the space earlier, and the brothers, a couple. But I'm not gonna say their name. The brothers was putting the concept of reparation as the idea that reparation or else. So we just basically was saying we're gonna maintain mayhem and doing what we're doing, giving I don't like using the YN, giving a lot of people who YN and all of it, giving them the excuse that they don't need to have, they don't need to come under no type of order, and they could just continue doing what they're doing until we get reparations. Okay. Reparations. And I like, yo, dude, man, that I mean, I feel you. I'm not against the idea of reparation. I don't call it reparation. I call it inheritance. I say, but the inheritance doesn't come from the government, man. It comes from your own ability and what you're doing. You can create a certain thing coming your way, but what if it never comes? What are you saying to everybody? We ain't gonna clean up our act. We're never gonna act appropriate. We're never gonna become the men and women. So we just gonna allow our young people to just run them up because they ain't got no reparations, man. I don't know. That just sounds a little crazy to me. The fact that we just gonna hang everything up, okay, until we get reparations. So we gonna get everybody, what everybody's doing, crime and violence and everything, and all because we got our
new black. I ain't your old black. I ain't your future black. America. I ain't your black.
Yeah.
And
now, again, it's
I ain't your black. Mr. Just As Joe and Uncle Bijor.
You gotta be like,
Might have listened to my book. I noticed that topic of children being, abused and everything seemed to be a very sensitive thing. And I want to take it a little bit further, letting people know that even where I'm about to go with this is very important. Even women who's feeling that they exposing their children to multiple relationships in and out the house and everything. That is, my mother, I keep it 100, all three of her children come from three different men, okay? You follow what I'm saying? That is also, when in my book, I said I had three fathers, I had Joey, the pimp, my father, and then the one that she finally went ahead and married and thing. But, my mother she was a woman of a pimp. But she wasn't a hoe, okay? She was used to being kept a certain lifestyle and everything. And
she was the bottom lady. I don't want to say the B word, but that's what they would call her.
Well, yeah, my mother was shocked because she didn't, when I told her, when I found we got together and I told her, I remember the last time I saw Joey, okay, the pimp, because she was shot at. Those women didn't like her, okay, because Joey was taking care of her, okay, and he used to babysit me. I was just talking about this with somebody earlier. He used to babysit me, and I wasn't a talker, I was a very mute kid, but my eyes was like, and he took me around his women, and he must have saw. I heard him talking to them like, he must have looked around and saw my face. And I remember him saying this. I told my mother, he said, I'm not going to talk to your mother that way. Your mother is my lady. Okay. And I didn't know what all that meant, but, all right. But I saw how he talked to them and I so the fact that he looked at me and told me that, he must have saw my face. But he was a strong man. Keep it 100. I remember him being a very, very intentional, strong man. But I think that also played into my mother's psyche as well, because come to find out my mother had been suffering from mental illness for quite a long time. So what she decided to do is the third man that came, and it's my father, he wasn't an attractive man. The story is from when I went home and talked to my godfather, who was the chief of police. He told me, he said, let me tell you about your mother. I say, my mother's real name is Hattie Laura Conley. He said, but my mother didn't use Hattie because she hated her mother, who was a maid. She thought it was a slave name. And she said, she didn't want that name. So she started using her middle name, Laura. So my dad, the one who adopted name I have, I'm telling the story from, you got to understand, this is a story from men, okay? He shared it with me to let me know that we knew your mother was up to something because, my mother's an attractive, good-looking woman, okay? Red bone, okay? This is what, and I got to say it the way he said it so you're going to understand the magnitude of it. He said, me, Sean, or they used to call me Sean. He said, Sean, let me tell you something. Let me tell you about your mother. We knew your mother was up to something. The day that Chuck, that was what they called my father, Chuck, showed up at the door with your mother with him, he said, I called the meeting to the bathroom. He said, well, you do you mean? He said, fellas, we got to have a meeting in the bathroom. He told me, they went in the meeting in the bathroom. He said, ain't no MF way Chuck pulled her. Ain't no way. Y'all know I'm clowning, but what he was saying, ain't no way.
Yeah, they knew Chuck.
But yeah, when Chuck was he was like, he was overweight. He wasn't an attractive guy. This and that. And they knew him. I mean, so they knew him. Okay, and he was telling me the story. He said, I'm telling you the story because let me tell you, I knew your mother was up to something. So when all the fellas came back to the table, and Chuck went to introduce my mother to them, and he said, "This is Laura," and they said, "Chuck, what you got? You know how to feel it? What you got here, brother? Yeah, y'all, what you got here, bro? What you got going on?" And my mother, this is what he told me. My mother said, looked at them. His name is Charles. That's what you would call him.
Okay. But I'm glad you gave us that wonderful preface because that's a good one to get into here to go ahead and open up everything. So while we're here, I want to go ahead and welcome everyone to our space. I am your host, Pray Moore, accompanied by my lovely host, Miss Boss Lady, my co-host, and our other co-host. I'm sorry, well, I was the host. Y'all know what's going on. And our other co-host, I Ain't Your Black, aka our brother Joe. We thank you all so much for joining us. Tonight we're going to be diving into a story that's not only raw, but it's real and profoundly human. We're joined by Meshorn Daniels, known to many affectionately as Uncle Meshorn, and he's the author of I Ain't Your Black, America. And it's a memoir that's not just a book, it's a cry from the heart, a call to unlearn the labels that box us in, and a testament to rising above pain. Meshorn's story is one of survival, not just of the body, but of the soul. And as a retired Army veteran, surgical technician, and a man who's faced multiple childhood trauma, he's here to share how he reclaimed his identity as a descendant of American slaves, and not just a label like Black or Uncle Tom. This isn't just about race. It's about the wounds we carry, the strength it takes to heal, and the courage to tell the world who you really are. Not a predator, as some have cruelly misjudged him on this app, but he's a survivor who has turned his pain into purpose. And so tonight we're here to listen and to feel and to learn from his journey. So before we start that, I do want to set the stage for those that may be sensitive listening. There are some graphic content here. So of course, click off if that is not something that you're into. But as well, before we get to the first question, I want to put a statistic here to let people know 1 in 5 Black children face sexual abuse before the age of 18. So for many Black boys like Meshorn, the stigma and stereotype often silence their truth. So let's tonight hold a space in our hearts for this story. And I want to firstly thank you, Brother Meshorn, for joining us. And let's go ahead and jump into our Interview Boss Lady, did you want to have something to say before we get into the questions?
Yes, I would definitely like to thank you, Pray More, for bringing this to light, and also linking me with Michonne and Miles and Carl. Without knowing who Michonne is, I would have never got a chance to buy his auto book and actually listen to what he wrote. Very moving, and I definitely would like to say before we start, Paradigm is very deep, and I'll land with that.
Okay.
That lets me know that you
That's
listen.
her favorite, absolutely.
That's your favorite, huh?
That's her favorite chapter.
Man, that lets me, you know what? Let me just say, I listen to people. Yeah, as much as you're going to interview me, I'm going to let y'all know, because my biggest deal is that I wrote the book, but I'm more interested in how you all received the book, okay? So
Right.
just the fact that you just told me that lets me know a little bit more about you, because not everybody picked that up. So you are very astute if you think you felt that is your favorite chapter. Very interesting.
Okay. So let's go ahead and start here. In the book, you open up about your gut-wrenching betrayal.
Right.
Oh, go ahead, Boo.
Did you want me to play the clip?
Oh, yes. Let's go ahead and play the clip. I'm going to put that link in the jumbo as well for people to click on that, and the link for purchase of the book. But as long as I put the UncleMichorn.com there, they should be able to visit. But I'll go ahead and put that there as well while you're playing that. Here's an audio from www.UncleMichorn.com. It's a bit of an excerpt from the book, or not an excerpt, but just an introduction, call to action, and I'd like for y'all to listen to it. Go ahead and play it, baby.
When I wrote my book, I'm Not Your Black America, I was thinking about you. I was thinking about each and every one of you who's younger than me. I was thinking about all the generations that came before me, that men like myself didn't have the ability to speak because of the color construct kept them boxed in such a manner that men, husbands, fathers, and uncles weren't allowed to speak and say their truth. When I wrote my book, I thought about all the young males, where I want to help them to have the voice to be able to stand up, to defend themselves, defend their wives, defend their children. Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, if they would have been able to build. What about the multiple businesses and multiple cities that if they would have been built, we will not be having the economic disparity that we have today. If descendants of American slave communities, we were, specifically our men, were forced to silence, forced to docile, forced to inferiority, to see ourselves less than, so we could not defend ourselves. When I wrote my book, I thought about my grandchildren. I thought about my children. I thought about the future. I want to make my book available for every single one of you. Listen to it. Give a listen to my audio book. This is your Uncle Michorn. I'm asking you for 99 cents. I specifically want my demographics of people. Are you who have been mistreated solely because of the color of your skin? I definitely want you to listen to my book. I would think that each and every one of you find it quite valuable.
Black people wake up
This is your Uncle Michorn
and become intellectually independent enough.
Give a listen to my book. Thank you.
Thank you for playing that audio for us, Boss Lady. Was everyone able to hear that audio?
Very good.
Perfect, thank you. So let me get into my first question for you. It's regarding the weight of childhood trauma. So in the book, you open up about the gut-wrenching betrayal of being sexually abused by your uncle as a young child. And that was a trauma that left you questioning your worth, in a world that already tries to label you. So can you maybe take us back to that time, how that pain shaped the boy you were, and how it rippled into your search for your identity as a man?
Girl, you just went right there, huh?
You opened it up. Look, that's how you opened the book up to me. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I dropped it, didn't I? I just dropped it right there. Yeah.
Dropped the T. Yes. You had to wait to read the rest to get the
Yeah, it puts you in suspense like that. If that's his opening, what he got coming behind that, right?
Absolutely. So I would love to hear just even some of your life. Like, how did that shape you when you were a boy? How was that going to school with such a weight on yourself?
Yeah.
And such as like that.
So I think probably the first thing I need to let you know is that when that happened to me, it made me mute. I wasn't talking, for quite a long time. My mother was taking me to psychiatrists to want to know why I wasn't talking. And I'm a jump. I didn't realize, so the bottom line is my uncle, so y'all can understand, my uncle who was an alcoholic, my mother, I say in the book, I didn't know, an alcoholic. And she used to leave me there to be babysitting. And so he changing my diaper and everything, and he pulls out his penis and put his with mine and played it. And before I knew what an epiphany was, I knew something wasn't right. I'm like, that ain't right. That ain't right. Okay. And he did it multiple times. And so it left a visual in my head that the reason I didn't realize why I couldn't speak, this is where I learned through my counselor and everything. The reason why I didn't speak, I didn't have the terminology to explain to my mother what is going on. So it stopped me from speaking. That's deep. I didn't come to that conclusion until I was, with the counselor we were talking, and he said, that's why you couldn't speak. Your little mind, because I'm in a diaper. I wasn't even talking. I wasn't even talking well, and I knew something wasn't right. I knew, but it left the impression on me. So as I was growing up, you asked the question. When I started, I used to have dreams. In my dreams of that action going on, So it kept me from talking, and so I got picked on in school. And the very first time that I remember this, my mother gave me this name, Meshorn. I knew my name. I'm already had this trauma, and then I got this damn name. Okay, Meshorn. So they called me Sean at home and everything, but when I entered school, I knew my name was Meshorn. So I remember the roll call and the teacher doing the roll call. And I was just learning to start talking because here I was, and then I saw her just fumbling all over the name. I'm seeing calling the names and fumbling. And said, "Is there a Meshorn here?" And I knew it was me. I raised my hand up and I said, "Yes, ma'am, my name is Meshorn." And the teacher comes out and say, "And I'm me teacher." And oh my God, all the children laughed and picked on me and this and that because they started going around calling themselves me Tommy. And you know how children can be, The crazy thing, I wasn't a talker. I never told my parents what happened, never told my mother. I didn't tell anything that happened to me, even what happened to me with my uncle, until I was in the military. And after basic training, AIT, I was gone. We talking about 10 years out of me being in the military. I came back and finally had that talk with them. And initially, I remember they didn't believe me. They're like, "What?" But then it came out, and then they realized, they said, "Why wasn't I not talking? I wasn't talking for a reason." And then we also found out that he died. He was already dead and gone. But we also found out that we had another person in our family that actually went to prison for molesting children as well. So dealing with that as a child all the way up, it was always in my head. It also, and then I don't know if you want me to go right into, the fact that I was slow. Okay, when I say immature,
and become
and all this was in Miami.
intellectually
all this is in Miami.
independent
All this is in Miami, Florida. And then living in a household where my mother, come to find out, my mother too. I didn't learn all this later, but it explains why my mother allowed so many things to occur in the household. She herself, was molested, and then she was the dominant person in them, because my father, I learned in talking to him that he came from a molested home as well, and he came from a father who was not a strong man in the household. And his mother was a very strong, dominant person. So when he met my mother, he just allowed her to do whatever she wanted to do, and whatever she wanted. He was, he told me, I can talk blame. He was sexually, infatuated with my mother. She was a very attractive woman and everything. So, he allowed her, pleasing her was allowing her to do whatever she wanted. And my mother, he kept her in a certain lifestyle. And I'm going to say this as well. Prior to that, they lived poor. My mother, they had 11 kids, but a total of 18 kids but 11 of them was born. But my mother told me that, grandma had 18 children, but the other one passed, 11 lived. So, and they lived poor. So my mother lived in a very poor lifestyle, and she saw things. So when she got the opportunity, I'm not making excuses for her, but I really understand that life of poverty and everything, she didn't want to live that life of poverty anymore. So she decided, and I think the pimp, even though she was his woman, not his hoe. I always got to correct people, because people want to come and talk crazy. I said my mother was his woman. Okay.
Right.
Which is a difference. Okay. But he kept her in a lifestyle that she loved, she liked. Mm-hmm. But she didn't like the danger of it, and I never seen Joey again. But when I believe what happened, I can talk about it now, because I realized my mother made a conscious decision. I'm gonna find me a man, and I'm gonna pimp him. I'm gonna pimp him. Okay, because she didn't work a day. She didn't work outside the house. My mother was always home when I came home. Always from school, always there. Okay. I never known her to ever work outside the house and everything. So
that's something that we can count with. And I'm glad that you said that as well. That goes into that title you and Joe, Mr. I Ain't Your Black, came up with yesterday, with gifts and curses.
Yeah.
That would be something that could be seen as a gift, although you were going through
curses, right?
Things while you were inside the home. And I also want to bring it to those attention that these cases of child sexual assault happen at 34% in our community. And stuff like that shatters the trust of a child early on, when that happens to them. And hearing your story, I'm just astounded at the strength that you found to even write about it and to break that silence that keeps so many survivors trapped, especially as Black men, with y'all facing the stereotypes about masculinity and things like that. It makes it harder for boys to disclose that type of abuse.
You know what? I can answer why I believe my mother kept me from Black churches. I didn't go to I wasn't in the Black community at all. Okay. The only Black community I had was in school and my parents. She had a scroll there. So I never was around the Black community. Okay. When I say nowhere, I wasn't around her family. She separated from her family, everything. Only thing I knew is I grew up in that household and going to school and coming back, and that was it. Okay, matter of fact, I remember on Sundays seeing people. I tell you the little joke. So the Jehovah's Witnesses would come to our house and everything, and my mother used to say, don't tell those Jehovah's Witnesses I ain't here. Blah, blah, blah. So as a kid, I thought it was us and Jehovah's Witnesses. I used to see people. I'll tell you from a kid perspective.
Right.
I didn't know it was all these other different religions out here. I didn't know. I let a whole lot of Jehovah's Witnesses around because I'm seeing people going, on Sunday. I had to do Yahweh. I never went to church. Never went to church.
You all didn't, as you were growing up with your mother, you all did not have any form of religion that you went by.
None.
Was she a spiritual woman at all? Was she like a praying woman? Did she do any of that?
Nope.
Well,
nope.
That's quite interesting.
Go ahead, Boss Lady.
Can I chime in real quick?
Yes, I would love you to answer your question.
Yeah, because there is speculations that Sean, you were involved in a cult when you were younger.
Yes.
Hear the truth about that and what really happened?
Yeah, the real deal is I was already in the military. I was already in the military when I got a phone from a lawyer telling me that my parents was involved with it's a big thing, Ben Yahweh. Ben Yahweh was a major cult in Miami, Florida. I mean, people were being killed and they was a very racist organization. So when my mother found religion, she found religion in that cult. Okay. She led, and there's my brother. I only know reason I know this because my little brother told me about the story. She led them there, okay, and she led my father there. Yeah, I mean, he was he just did whatever she wanted to do. He didn't have no say so in it. So when she tried to find religion, and I think what the deal is, he cheated on her multiple times, and she was trying to get some control of her marriage and everything. But she hated white people because she grew up hating white people because of her mother worked for the Nelsons, and she hated white people. So this religion just fed into her hatred. Okay, and that's the cult side. And then I remember I got the phone call and I went down to Miami and I actually got to see Ben Yahweh. I sat right in his office, okay? And this guy gonna say to me, okay, that I can send. I mean, he must have thought I was poo-poo and stupid. Or so, brother, I'm glad you're in the military, man. We need to get financing. And what I like for you to do is just make sure you send your check to me and we'll go ahead. I mean, I looked at this dude, like, you freaking serious? I mean, you out your mind and everything. And I looked over at my parents. It was just crazy. And so they sold into this, and I immediately said, I'm out of here, okay? And I had somewhere to go, so they couldn't do anything. But my sister was there. She was young. She hadn't even had no children at this time. And we got to talking, and she was supposed to meet me. I was going to be leaving. I mean, it's a sad moment, but it's the truth of the matter. I was going to take my sister with me back to Fort Campbell. And she told me she was going to meet me and I was supposed to come pick her up and everything. Well, I did come there and 3 guys met me there. And this is what they told me. And they said, the only reason you ain't dead is because you're a soldier. Your sister's not coming. And it'd be best for you to just get on where you can go and forget about this.
So she fell into that same cycle essentially as your mother, but worse.
Worse. And had 9 kids.
Wow. So the trauma for her definitely
was
affected
different.
her much differently as the girl. The only girl there with all those young men.
Yeah. The from the Yahweh. They just treated her. I mean, and Craig. Yeah, she was young. She was being sexually involved with older men. With one man, they married her off, but he was older than her. She was too young to be married. To be getting married, yeah. And they messed around and had 7 kids and everything. So her other 2 kids came along, and she was so messed up in the head and everything. And she had 2 other kids from, married men. You know what her whole strategy was? She's in Atlanta. It was like, I'm listening at her strategy. She had a plan. She's going to tell me her plan. Her plan is that she was going to get a married man to help her take care of her other kids and everything. And so she was going to trick the other man, the married man, since he was financially good and everything. And she told me the whole story. And I said, that's not a good plan. But she ran with it, okay. And it seemed to work, because when I got remarried and everything, we went to see her and everything. And she was living well. Kids were being taken care of, and the married man, he had a kid with her and everything, and this and that, and it was working out. But we talking about a serious dysfunctional environment, and that was the 8th kid, and then that situation didn't work out. And I remember when she came to me, and she got pregnant again, and asked me what to do. I like. No, you should have asked me that before you got involved. I'm not about to get involved with you. You grown at this point. You need to make your own decisions. Go and do what you need to do. But that's. I mean, I feel for my sister, because even to this day, right now, things not going well. Her own daughter, somebody messed around. She had 1 son and all girls. Now figure that now. Think about that. She has and her son just passed away. She has all girls, and they know her story. And I hear some.
I think Boss Lady's trying to speak. Are you?
No. I was just coming off the mic, but I think you might hear my background.
Right.
You can hear you all right now. It's not too loud. When you first came on, I heard something, but I don't hear anything now.
So she don't have I know her nieces. They are my nieces and everything, and they don't have anything, especially after how she treated her own mother. And that's a whole nother story in itself, how she treated her own mother. And right now they don't even talk and communicate.
Right. And when you say her own mother, you mean you all's mother that you share together.
Right.
And
right.
Now, speaking to that, Boss Lady, did you want to ask your question in regards to their relationship with the sister and the mother?
Yes. And Michon, again, I commend you so much for even sharing your story. And I feel like some adults that grew out of that playing house phase probably would never speak on their story, but you are speaking on your story, and I feel like you can definitely help people to understand that it wasn't their fault, but hurt people. So whatever was done to somebody, they would try to pass on that trauma by inflicting the same thing that was done to them.
Yes.
And I didn't know this space would be this raw, so bear with me when I ask these questions, because I don't want to ask these questions because, I'm big-hearted, so it's just like, man, I didn't know he went through that. But then again, I kind of have a similar story, but I was playing house, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
so
right.
My next question is, how did you process the moment you found out that your mother's husband molested your sister?
Oh my God. What I'm about to tell you all, okay, it was bad enough that I knew with my sister and I had played. He told me didn't know what to say, and I'm not going to go the other way. I'm not going to tell you anything about my sister and her behavior or anything, because I'm not going to go down that way. I'm not going to go the way. Okay, I'm not going to go that way because that would be wrong. Yeah, it would be wrong for me to go that way. But I'm only telling from my perspective. Okay, but the worst part of it all is that because that was going on, this is going to shock you here. When I told my wife that, I said, I know, baby, it was rough. It was rough. Because my mother gave permission of her man to sleep with my daughter, my sister, my mother actually came to my bed and tried to sleep with me. And I remember going off on her. Listen here, that I said, listen here, and because we had to have a conversation about it. I said, let me explain something to you. Okay, you came to me. You can't sit up and say, "Oh, I wouldn't do that." Look at here, you done already allowed all that other crap. Why wouldn't you do that?
Right. And what is that for a child to make up? What is that for you?
Yeah. Well, where I'm gonna bring that up?
Such a thing.
Right. Yeah. She, but I mean, I had, at some point, I don't mind telling you all. At some point, I've had to, talk to my mother in a manner that is not, cool.
Becoming of a child.
Not becoming of a child talking to their mother. You understand what I'm saying? But I had to cross those lines there.
Well, I'm sure many people would find that justifiable given the circumstances, and I'm again just so proud of you for your courage to even share this, and I'm so glad that you made the clarification again, because there's so much rumor going on around the app, and a lot of jackets being placed on you about you being a pedophile,
right? I know,
to that degree. And so it's very important we let people know that these things happened to you while you were a minor. Your feelings were both all minors. And this was something that was trauma from the top down. This came from your people who should have been protecting you.
Yeah, exactly.
And should have been guiding you in that right way. And for you to see such sexual deviance in your face that caused those children to act out.
Yes, right.
That's very unfortunate. Like I said, that affects 34%, that intrafamilial abuse. And that's not even just considering how much the children are doing it with each other, not even knowing that it's a so-called wrong thing. So that stuff is going unreported, most likely.
Yeah, absolutely. But now I'm going to ask you a question. I know y'all had questions for me, but I'm going to ask you a question because you're right there. Don't you find it? I know I'm actually asked it this way. What did you think when you saw me say parent God? I want you to, because that's my own terminology. When I'm writing I actually told my ghostwriter, I said, my parents were the first God I ever known. They were my God. What did you think when you saw me break that down about parent God?
See, I actually related to that because similar to you in my younger years, it wasn't Yahweh ben Yahweh. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Nubian nation, Malachi Z. York.
No, I never heard of him.
Very popular in Georgia. And he had, for lack of better words, a cult. He had a lifestyle, and that was essentially part of their teaching. So they said if someone were to ask you if you had no concept of God or Christ or anything like that, and they would tell you, hey, a God is someone that creates and that loves you, that cares for you, that wants you to do well and this and that, who would you point to? And I'm like, well, hey, my mother and father. And they said exactly, that's those are your gods. They're your creators. And you're a
Wow.
God and you create, so that was the concept that they were trying to drill into my head. So when I got to that portion, it stopped me a little bit because I'm like, dang, I was right there on the brink of being too far gone, feeling that philosophy in my head and not realizing my power above. Like now I identify as a Christian as an adult.
Right.
I identify as a Christian woman. I've been saved. I've did the baptisms and all of that. So I have crossed over into my full religion as an adult. But at the time I was lost. My parents didn't necessarily instill that. I went to church with my grandmother, but she wasn't picky about it either. She wasn't going to force me to go, you know? And so I grew up with my dad being Rasta also. So he was kind of in his own little thing. My mother was not around as much because I was raised with my father. He was a single parent. So I was mostly there with them. So that was something I had no concept of. I read the Bible myself in 4th grade just on my own, just to see what the craze was about. I'm like, everybody's talking about the Bible and God. And I literally read it over the summer, 4th grade going to 5th grade, just trying to find some understanding there. And so that was something when they approached me as a young girl, like about 19, 20 years old. I was leaving my first husband. He's Muslim. And then I'm looking for something, trying to find my identity. And I got found by those people. And they're telling me that same exact thing. And so I said, wow, this has to be, they're all sharing this same cult knowledge around to get people pulled in.
Yeah.
That was alarming for me.
Yeah, well, the deep part is that, I came to that conclusion that's what your parents, now the reason why I came to them that way, because I had I wasn't going to church. I didn't have so my parents were my gods. My mother was God. Okay. So when I finally did find the Bible, let me turn that around. When God eventually revealed himself to me and I found myself studying and understanding the word, it was through there that it helped me to realize that my parents was, not God. They were wrong. God was, God told me he was with me the whole time. The reason why I am who I am is God had my back. Okay. And that's how that's how I was able to get through it and everything, is that when God let me know that he gave me breath. I know that's your parents, but I gave you breath. I saved you. I let you go through all that. You didn't need to go to church. I was your church. Okay. You don't need, and so the very first time, this got all regular, but this is the very important thing. I say this: learning how to be black and being indoctrinated and programmed and domesticated black is not the same thing. Learning how to be accepted as black is not the same when you're born and raised and you go through everything. So when I started looking and wanting to be accepted as black, viewed as black, it caused me to go down some very dark areas to be accepted as black. Y'all follow what I'm saying? I mean, you know how we are.
Absolutely. And that finding your blackness. And I want to, before we got too far, I want to pull one of your quotes that stuck out to me, kind of about what you were just saying. You said, "A godless king has no option but tyranny."
Oh, you are way astute. Look at you. That's one of my favorite quotes.
And there. I know, and it struck out to me as well. Can you tell me what that means to you?
Oh my God. God, you are the first to. I'm gonna. developed that. Okay, that's the fourth thing she did for me. She put me. So the military. Forced me to be a critical thinker. So, I went to church in a Methodist church. I don't know if y'all know what Methodist churches is, but they are regimental. I mean, ain't look at here. They are regimental, okay? Yeah. You are in it to study the word. You ain't in here. This ain't no. I mean, they treat me, even as a grown young man that I was, when I came in there, they said they held Bible study, teaching, and all that singing and dancing, you're like all that ain't going on. And it was a white Methodist church. I don't mind that. They were regimental about that word, okay? And I was like, it was very, me being a military guy, I got in.
Yeah, you like the structure.
Yeah. I was into the structure. Yeah, I was into it. And I asked questions like, I want to get into it all, but I remember asking the question, why didn't man in the garden push back on woman when she tried to turn around and, give him the fruit? Why say he was quiet? I remember, and they looked at me and said, I don't think no one ever asked that question before. I said, it's an obvious question. I mean, if God tells you that you can name everything, I gave you this woman and this and that, and God told him not to go to that, and she goes do it anyway, and she turns around and he's silent. He don't even say, hey, whoa, wait.
He ain't say, baby, let's put this back on the tree. Like on that Kanye song. He said, we have everything we need. Let's put this back on the tree.
Right. Like, hey, you ain't even supposed to be there. I asked the question. See, you say, how? Have you ever heard anybody ever say, ask that question, why didn't man? It said, all that, because I ain't gonna get into all that. But when God showed up looking for him, there was another reason. It was like, well, what do you mean God said, what do you mean you hiding and you naked? Who told you that? Then he says, this woman you gave me.
See how you threw her under the bus? He's supposed to be the leader.
Right.
Under the bus.
So right there. Yeah. So right there, immediately I realized, and I'm doing this as a military person thing. I realized, oh, you done messed up, boy.
Yeah, he done. Broke rank. He done.
You done broke rank.
We gotta go call.
No, dude, don't you know you done messed up? Hey, there you go, blame God, dude.
And so,
anyway, I'm having fun here,
So
but
we're having fun as well. And Prema, did you want to ask the next question, or do you want me to ask?
I was pretty much segueing into what you were gonna say. Because I know while you were in the military, it sent you a few different places. You went to Germany as well, correct?
Well, before I get to Germany, I was a cook. So I want you to understand, that's how I got my blackness, okay? As a cook.
Okay, that's where I was like, how did we segue?
Yeah, I got my blackness being
Germany, and then
that Germany is way after I became a surgical technologist. But you must understand where I got my blackness. I had to go get my black card, okay? And being a cook in an infantry unit at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, 100 Division and everything, hanging out with all my people, brothers,
and that's
all
where
men.
You learned about Louisville, which you hadn't known about before.
No. That's in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. This is in Kentucky. This is in the 80s. Louisville, Kentucky.
You didn't find out about that until you were in Germany.
Yeah, I was late. After I came from Germany and everything. Yeah, that was all later. Okay. I'm just talking about how, listen, just so you can understand. I'm not trying to make it I was a hoe, okay? I had to be a hoe to get my card. There's a lot of things I had to go through and do. And I got my whole card at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. 4 years there. 4 men in my life, but I wasn't just with any men or brothers who was teaching me how to get my card. I was with some mastermind guy, one of the biggest dope dealers on Fort Campbell. Nobody knew. I used to hold his money. One of the dudes that had the most women. I mean, he's known for having women. He was my partner and everything. So I hung out with the best of the best guy, good or bad, whatever got there. I hung out with some of the best because they always used to take me under their. They thought me kind of weird. I was kind of odd, Sure, I like, man, come on over here, man. So I hung out with them, but these guys took me down. So,
And that's somewhat reminiscent. Now, was that the first time you consensually had intercourse or had any relations?
No, you see, girl, look at you. Well, you just gonna get on in there, right?
Look, I'm trying to get the tea out.
You trying to get the down there. But the real, I can really tell you the first time that I really had an intimate relationship was the dark chocolate, smoky, doggest woman I've ever been with. She was an older woman. She saw me in the club and everything, and she had her eyes on me.
Sure.
Yeah, I was dancing with her and everything. We was out there dancing. This is where I fell in love with my name too. I'm dancing with her and everything. She said, "What's your name?" It's like a James Bond moment for me. I said, "My name is Michon Daniels." So cute, I am. And she took me home that night, boy.
The woman because of his trauma, but
because of the trauma. The problem, I didn't know, to keep it 100. I did not know because I had, as I said, I was a hoe, and I say that meaning that I had multiple girlfriends and everything. But these girls used to come back all the time, and I remember me laying in. I didn't know that I was sterile until I was married with my first wife in Germany. This got me to Germany and everything, and I got married and everything. She's from Louisville, Kentucky, and we wanted to have kids, and so we went to the urologist and everything. Urologist says to me, "Son, let me tell you, you only got 100 sperms. You're supposed to have 1 million." You only got 100, and out of the 100 you got, the mobility is halfway to nothing. I'm like, so son, you sterile. I'm like, oh. The reason I bring that up because I remember the multiple ladies who had came back and kicked it with me multiple times, and I'm laying on the pillow, and they said, "Can you have kids?" And I'm like, sure. I realized that I might have not been good. That's my little joke to myself. I might have not been good at all. They were just trying to get a damn ID card.
So by the time you went over there, you was big pimping all over the world, and then you found yourself in Germany, and
found out
to get a good old green card back.
They were just trying to get a card from me. I might have not been good at all. But let me tell you something. This is how God worked. A lot of my partners and friends that was out there, they had kids all over the place and everything. I didn't. Look how God, come on now. Let me tell you something. God took, Y'all didn't catch
They
that.
say he take care of babies and food now. Which one?
Yeah. Hey, I mean, see, no, I got an accurate.
I took notes. You described Louisville as a Democrat paradise. What about your experience there made you feel What about your experience there made you feel isolated?
Wow.
taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other.
When black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough
So the title of my second book is I Am Messiah.
Oh, wait a minute before you get all the way into that. Bossa, did you have one last
Yes,
question before he gets into that?
Yes,
Okay.
and thank you so much. So, we're, listening to the audio that I played at the start of the space, you did state that you want to help your people, and that brings me to the chapter of paradigm. Very deep chapter, very enlightening chapter, because it boils down to what Pray More spoke to me about as far as gifts and curses. So, in your own words, can you explain the difference between human construct and color construct? I think you explained that very well in that chapter. I mean, but I would like for you to say it in your own words, because I think people are forgetting what those two differences are and how it sums up how we are being treated here in this country.
You know what I'm going to do is with Carl, because Carl is one of the people that has also read my book. I like to see have Carl come up in athletes, because Carl said something very unique when he read the book, because he said he had never heard of the construct. So Carl, are you there? Can you come up and tell everyone about when you read it and to answer that question for her, and then I'm gonna go after you, Carl. You don't mind?
And, yes, I grew up understanding the race construct, the different races. When I became a Christian, I rejected the race construct of many races, because I only believe there's only one race, which is the human race. But there are many people groups. So as a Christian, I've been a Christian over 40 years, so I rejected the race construct a long time ago, because again, one race, which is the human race, many people groups. But in America, we have this construct called race, where it's broke up into the Negro, the Caucasoid, the Mongoloid, and so forth and so on. So I was more so focused on race construct and trying to get people to move from that construct as a Christian, and for the church to lead in that regards. But anyway, that's a long story. Uh, so so one race, which is the human race, but many people groups. Reading the book, Mishorn's book, gave me a reminder of this thing called color. Uh, it moved from race construct to another thing that we have been bogged down into, which is a color construct, which is white, black, mostly white and black construct, because the other three have been eliminated. I was telling Mishorn about this a few weeks ago. The other three was eliminated back in the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, because they became offensive. So they stopped saying red and yellow. They used to say black, they used to say white, black, red, yellow, brown. You don't hear the yellow and the red anymore. You still hear the white and the black, and most of the time you'll hear something about black and brown coalition. But Mishorn's book brings that color construct to the forefront, and the first glance passing, that you're white if you're first glance passing. If I can see you and you at a first glance and you're white, then you have got the white card or the white ticket. So the racial construct was white race, which was invented in the 1680 under Bacon's Rebellion. I understood all that, did research on that, read Theodore Allen's book years ago about the invention of the white race and so forth and so on, and how the Irish took the white card, the Italian took the white card, the Jews took the white card. The only people that couldn't take the white card was us, the black people, the Negroes, the black race. So I knew about the right race, but reading his book brought up this again, this color construct that we have just somewhat submitted ourselves to. And I say we as Black people, and I use that word, quote unquote, Black. We have aligned ourselves to the opposite of white is Black, and so we see that even in the reparations movement, many people are trying to hold on to the term Black with all dear life. And years ago, I started saying freedmen, that we are freedmen, the descendants of the emancipated, or the descendants of slaves, and that's how we get our inheritance, is through that status. But anyway, that's another story. But Mishon's book brought the color construct up to the forefront, the white passing construct, and the Black, and how we are consumed with this color construct. And I land there.
Well,
Thank you so much for that. It was well spoken.
and so I'm going to add on top of what he said. I wanted to, because I've talked to many of us culturally, but Carl was probably the best, gave me the best explanation when he understood about the color construct. So I'm just going to, on top of what he just said, I'm going to add this caveat. If you don't have if those who have a hard copy of my book, I set the tone about my book on the back
Who
cover
taught you to hate
of
your
my
own
book.
kind?
Okay.
Who taught
I
you to hate
literally
the race
go
that you belong to?
in
So
talking
much
about
so that you don't wanna
exactly
be
what
around each other.
you about to get into
Who
on the
taught
back
you to
cover of
hate
my
your
book,
own
and
kind?
specifically I go
Who
in there and
taught you
talk
to
about
hate the race
first
that you
glance
belong
pass.
to?
But when I
So
speak
much
about
so
it,
that you don't
I'm
wanna be
speaking
around
about
each other.
I am very
Who taught you to
aware
hate
that
your
you
own
have a
kind?
demographic
Who taught
of
you to
people
hate the race
who
that you
use the
belong to?
first glance
So much
pass
so that you don't
to
wanna
their
be around each
advantage,
other.
and it wasn't the traditional white people. It's the Jews. Jews, as all of us already starting to realize, you don't see anything on applications or anything about Jews. So what are they labeling themselves as? Think about it. What are they doing?
When Black people
They're
wake up
coming in as white.
and become
But as soon as they
intellectually
get themselves in
independent enough,
any political or position, they pop their card and say they're Jew. Did y'all know that?
Ears.
That's right. They come.
Jew.
Yeah. So they come in and engineer, and I'll use that word. It's a very good word to use. They engineer themselves. Yeah, I know you are, but I'm gonna use the word anyway. They use their status as
Hold
white.
on, one moment. Please don't come off your mic, Toby. We're going to take questions in about 2 minutes. Let him close this. Give him 1 moment.
Yes, they use the status of white or first glance pass. If you peep that, they use the status of white or first glance pass to navigate to get ahead, even ahead of those who are traditional of European descent, and they have manipulated that. But the color construct has also been detrimental to us too, because now, as we starting to, you got people who coming from India, Africa, Haiti, Bahamas, and everybody. They too using first glance pass. It's so much valuable for us to be starting to look at, because it's coming at us both ways now. We got Jews who can now perpetrate themselves as white, and now we have multiple other people who they don't even want to, they come over here, take on our culture, take on our attitude, and now they want to identify as Black. And so the concept of inheritance or reparation come up, and hey, we in that part too. And that's why we have to separate ourselves and truly become and identify ourselves correctly that we are freemen, descendants of American slaves. And I close this. I am not your Black.
Thank you so much. Hold on 1 moment, Toby. So here go.
I understand.
Thank you so much, Brother Mishon,
you.
for sharing your heart with us tonight. This story just reminds us that labels don't define us.
Amen.
Our courage does. And so you've shown us that
Courage.
surviving your childhood trauma, especially in a world that tries to silence Black voices, even when they don't know they have a Black voice, is a testament to resilience and not shame. And I would like to say, I'm standing here right now to let you know, Brother Mishorn is not a predator, and I'm going to say it again, not a predator. This brother is a warrior who has turned his pain into a powerful call for America to see our shared humanity. So to everyone that's listening, I want to thank y'all for joining us. We're going to open up the floor. This book is not just to read, okay? It's a movement for us to unlearn this division and embrace our healing. So make sure you click that link. It's available on Amazon or UncleMishorn.com. We're going to open up the floor. Please raise your hands if you have any questions for him, or if you would like to share how any of this resonated with you. And let's please keep it respectful, keep it real, and let's honor the gifts and curses that shape us all. But before we get to the first question from the audience, Boss Lady, could you play the audio from Brother Mishorn before we get to the questions? And that'll be the last.
Don't do that. No one wants to hear that.
Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and remove that. Thank you. And I'm ready for the audio whenever you're ready, Miss Boss Lady. Because we're not going to tolerate any disrespect on this topic. This is too serious.
Well, I'm not your Black America. I was thinking about you. I was thinking about each and every one of you who's younger than me. I was thinking about all the generations that came before me, that men like myself didn't have the ability to speak because of the color construct kept them boxed in such a manner that men, husbands, fathers, and uncles weren't allowed to speak and say their truth. When I wrote my book, I thought about all the young males where I want to help them to have the voice to be able to stand out, to defend themselves, defend their wives, defend their children. Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, if they would have been able to build. What about the multiple businesses in multiple cities that if they would have been built, we will not be having the economic disparity that we have in today. If descendants of American slave communities, we were, specifically our men, were forced to silence, forced to docile, forced to inferiority, to see ourselves less than, so we could not defend ourselves. When I wrote my book, I thought about my grandchildren. I thought about my children. I thought about the future. I want to make my book available for every single one of you. Listen to it. Give a listen to my audio book. This is your Uncle Mishorn. I'm asking you for 99 cents. I specifically want my demographics of people. Are you who have been mistreated solely because of the color of your skin? I definitely want you to listen to my book. I would think that each and every one of you will find it quite valuable. This is your Uncle Mishorn from Louisville, Kentucky, originally from Miami, Florida. Give a listen to my book. Thank you. And I want to, before we take any questions and everything, I want to let everybody know that video, I did that in one take. One take. One take. It was one take. I did that video. And I believe the reason why I was able to do that book, that take in one take, because I spoke sincerely from my heart. My wife and I, we're financially solvent. Okay. I'm giving the audio book away for 99 cents for a reason. The reason is I want that 50 million of us that's here in the United States of America, and anybody else, but the 50 million of us that call ourselves Negro, Black, African American, whatever terminology, I truly want each and every one of us to hear my story, because I believe God is my mission. And I'm going to add this to you, or for you all to not know my name, Mishorn. I had someone to help me to understand that Mishorn means friend, but it means so much more. If you don't break it down, me, and then SHORN, Shorn. It means I share, I cut to the truth. I didn't even know that. Someone told me that about my name. He said, me, Sean, you cut to the truth. I'm not a fake brother. It is what it is. I try to keep it 100 and everything. And I believe that's what my book is. And that's what I wanted everyone to read it and get it. And so I believe that I am doing God's work. And I don't say that, easily, because 2 months ago, I almost thought I was going to die. My wife had to take me to the hospital, found out I had blood clogs in my lungs. I had passed out 3 times. If I had not been married and not with my wife with me, I probably would not be here. So after I found out my blood clogs, I realized I have left less years here. So I'm taking this work serious about trying to be an uplift to us, because I know we can do better. We just didn't know we can do better.
I'm telling you, it's definitely something that's going to be uplifting, in my personal opinion. I think the youth need to get this as well. We need to get this on some college campuses, maybe talk to some HBCUs or something to get it in the libraries there. I think it's a very, very important read. And another quote that I took from it, I want you all to hear. It says, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back. So let that be a lesson to y'all, to make sure you're able to go back through your life and unpack and, relive some of this stuff and unlearn it so that you can relearn it for your future. Mr. Miles, you have a mic and you've been waiting so patiently. I know you had a lot of questions and things to add. If you wanted to go ahead and chime in, you're more than welcome. Anyone else that is here to join us, feel free to grab a mic as well. Great debate. What's up? Big Herbs, Watch Me, April, Amber, everyone. You can go ahead, Brother Miles, if you're ready.
Oh, just a disclaimer, that's not the real April Showers page. It's a troll page.
Oh, wow. That's crazy talk. Oh, I see. I'm not even following that page. Jeff. Miles, are you at your mic? He might be away from his phone. Great debate. What's up, brother? Grab a mic and come on up.
Hey, Joe, you want to say anything?
Hey, well, definitely great space. Just good space, ladies. Fantastic job, and we definitely here at I Ain't Your Black. Thank you for the opportunity. We actually, through a lot of our philanthropy, and we're setting up tables, and Unc will set up a table in the hood of the hood, and talk about this book. And interestingly enough, it's so receptive. So and if you want to support the work that we do, then you can definitely I think Cash App, I Ain't Your Black. You're definitely welcome to. But, as we're sitting here talking, I'm thinking about, we need to set up some in-person signings. So we need to figure out some meet and greet areas and figure that out. But we'll talk about that down the road.
I'm open to travel to anyone who wants me to come their way. I will come. You set it up, and I come there as a special guest and talk and do signed copies. So I've already done it a couple places already. So I'm open to do that as well.
All right, and Brother Carl.
Let me say a couple of things. Great interview. I appreciate you ladies doing what you do. Very great interview. Responses from Mishorn on point. I've been around the Republican space for over 40 years. And most of your many of your black-faced Republicans, they would deny their color for Republican or American. You'll hear them say, I'm not black, I'm an American. I'm not black, I'm an American. So when Mishorn came along, I said, "Oh my God, I hope this is not one of them black. Hope this not one of them black-faced Republicans." And then he asked me to read his book, and when I saw his book, I saw the title, and I looked at it, and I said, "Okay, I am not your black," and then it had a comma there. It said, "I am not your black, comma," and then it says America. So I had to read it 2 or 3 times to really get it. And I said, okay, this is not one of those black-faced Republicans. So I started reading the book, and I started realizing the message that was coming through loud and clear. So I appreciate Mishorn for writing the book. I'm not your black, comma, America. He's not your, I like the way Joe said, I'm not your old black, I'm not your new black, I'm not your future black, America. So you have to really read the book and really realize what the comma is there for, so you won't think that it's another one of those black-faced Republicans who denying their ethnicity, who denying their culture, denying their people. I'm an American, I'm not black, blah, 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 blah. Again, I've been around for a long time, and I hate those that are more pro-party, political party, than there are their people.
Right.
So with that said, I appreciate the interview. I appreciate the responses, and thank you very much.
I want to add to what Carl just said, because Joe and I and Carl and for other people, even my publishers, people say they can read, but a lot of people don't read accurately. So when you read my book, people just say, "I'm not your black." They say, "Oh, I'm not your black book." Okay, America, I'm not your black America. And what they do, they miss and they don't see the comma. Okay, and so they misread my book. Okay, and not understanding it's not what you think it is. So the two, Boss Lady and Pray More, I'm going to ask you a question. Who do you think my audience is? Who am I writing to?
Pray More, did you want to go first, or I go after you?
That's fine. That's actually a good question. That was actually going to be one of my questions to you. Initially, Boss Lady can tell you, she and I were sending questions back and forth, and I said, I want to ask him, who is his target audience? Who did he really write this for?
So I want to ask you, I'm asking you because I know who it was, but
now,
I'm always curious to do because what Carl just said is a very problem with people who pick my book up and they don't catch who I'm writing to. So who do you think that I wrote my book to?
Now, I'm going to compare this to something else I read when I was younger. And it made me feel like you were writing this to, the title of that book is called The Little Boy in Me. And I was like, whoa, and that was the comparison. It was a former pastor of mine. He grew up with a similar thing, a lot of abuse and such like that. But he went to, he still had a piece up there with guys like Bishop T.D. Jakes and them. And so I said, whoa, this book, knowing that was part of your healing process, I said, it felt to me like you really wrote that book for the little boy within yourself. And then for it to relate to those others that have that little boy in them.
Not exactly.
So wake it up for me. But Boss Lady, give your chance. Give your response, and then let me hear what he said.
Okay, so since you do speak on trauma and triumph in your book, I want to say that you're speaking to, so basically your targeted audience is, again, our people, because you did say you wanted to uplift our people and challenge them intellectually. But I feel like you touch bases on how trauma is only just a step, and by us who was that?
Got someone trying to be disruptive. Don't worry, go on.
I didn't see who it was.
Goodbye, Tristan, and goodbye, Conrad. I don't know these people.
Well, that person had their hand up, but I didn't see them come off the mic. The Conrad person had their hand up on my side.
So yeah, I feel like your targeted audience is for our community, the Black American community, descendants of American slavery, but it challenges us to get over our trauma more so and to overcome that. So I do feel like your targeted audience is, I would say, between the baby bloomers and the millennials. That's what I'll say. I could be wrong.
Yes, both of you. I like where you're going, but both of you are not on point there. Okay, and I want to go back before I tell you. I want you to understand. When I say that I wrote this book, and I want each and every one of us, my book is written in code for a reason. I wrote this book. Remember, I told you I was in that lawsuit, and these people was treating me like a NIGGER, and I had to tell them and remind them that I'm not that guy. I'm not that person you trying to box me in. I'm not that person that you think that you're going to mistreat me and handle me any way you want to because you see the color of my skin. I'm not that guy. I told you James Baldwin wrote the book saying, I'm not your Negro. He was also saying the same thing. I'm not that guy. Okay.
That's deep. I'm just making that connection because you mentioned James Baldwin earlier. That's so deep. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but whoa.
No, that's okay. But so I'm not that guy. You better look at me and deal with me not based on the color of my skin, because you're gonna get it twisted. You're gonna get it messed up. If you see me, if I walk in the room and the first thing you do want to box me into the color of my skin, you're gonna get in trouble as soon as you have a conversation with me, because I'm gonna dismiss all that you said. So who am I writing to? Who am I writing to? I'm writing to the dominant European culture, because they the reason why we are in the mess that we are in. And if we do not check their ass, okay, about who we are and what we will not be played and what we will not be put up with, and we will not put up with their nonsense anymore, then we will continue being traveled in the hegemony that we have been suffering for 400 years. Now, with that little insight, I want to hear from the both of you all. Now, what do you think about what I was saying?
That was Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and let you get to your hand. But real quick, that was you basically telling them I ain't the one to play with.
There you go.
Yep, that was good.
Go ahead, comrade. Welcome to this space.
Yeah.
The conversation. Have you been listening?
Yeah. There was actually a book I was reading.
What happened to you?
Sorry, my mic cut out. There was a book I just got into, actually. It was by the author only had a first name on it, but it was called How to Eat what was it, BPB or something like that. And it was dealing with the European cultures, and at the end he tells you how to eat black poopy butt.
Oh,
these people have lost their mind tonight, child.
Yeah, you see how they just act, and they, like, I already knew he was about to be on some BS because you could hear like him trying to hold back his laugh, but it's really weird to be in a society with these people, and sometimes they make it seem like it's us, or it's us that's doing the wrongdoing, but it's just like it's really them, because it's like they really cannot exist without stealing culture from other different nations, and they cannot help themselves to be the misfits or the the Dennis to Menace type of personalities. It's like, what was that for? It wasn't funny. It was funny to you. That's why you were trying to hold back your laugh. You get what I'm saying? But it's just like, what was the reason to do that other than just to disrupt the space?
Yeah, I being a surgical technologist and have operated in that environment, you deal with those types all the time. So think about this here, and I'm gonna go in on this so you understand. The most dangerous or intimidating people that the dominant European culture is afraid of is us, is our men. They are afraid if we really actually understand the authority and power that we have. When I'm in their environment and operating in the environment, I walk in their environment with all the power and authority. The ones who try to give me the biggest pushback is not, matter of fact, it's not the white women. It's the European man. Why? Because they're threatened by me. And so one time I was in a space. I was in the room when they was there. I was the only one there. Okay. I said, you know what? I was clowning. But I was telling them. I said, you know what? I really starting to really understand y'all guys, man. I said, here you are supposed to be the dominant culture and everything, put everything in place. But y'all went out of your way to make our men look like monkeys, look like ugly, look like this and that. I said, now I asked myself, why would someone who controls everything, you control everything, okay? You teach us how to read about your white Jesus. You teach us all this, but then you go out of your way to do all these derogatory pictures and everything to make us look a certain kind of way. And then I stopped. Oh, I know what it is. Oh, you're afraid that we're gonna take y'all white women. So, oh, that's what it is. So you got to demonize us, make us look small, make us look ugly and everything, because you really are intimidated by us. Because think about what is it that has gotten.
Frances Cress Wilson, didn't she speak on that? The envy of the black penis.
Yeah. Think about what has always gotten us, our brothers, in trouble. Come on, let's go back in. What has always gotten our brothers in trouble? Okay, Emmett Till. What got us in trouble? Okay,
yeah,
what got us? What happened at? Y'all know what happened at Black Wall Street at the elevator? Am I right, Joe? At the elevator, a white woman.
Yeah, and what's interesting is a lot of people
don't
really
even know that story.
That story. Just like a lot of us don't know the real story of Uncle Tom. But the white woman got us in trouble. There, Black Wall Street.
So the dominant European males, y'all call them white, I call them. See, I do not use color for a reason. I don't use color for a reason to let them know. I know it's not only you running things. I see you all, okay? I'm not going to call you white because, I know you really, even the white people who call themselves white, they ain't even running things. It's the Jews running them. Oh, they get mad. Oh, y'all ain't even running anything, okay? Yeah, y'all being played by the very people who done played themselves as white and taken over under you.
And a lot of them are starting to recognize
I've been in their spaces now.
That's why they're getting mad. See, they thought they had a friend when they had their foot on our neck.
Right.
But now that they see the other shoe has dropped and it's a foot on their neck too, it's like, whoa.
Yes.
This is the concept they've done with the migrants.
But that begs a question, and your book really brings it out, is why is it, we will denounce many things that Massa did and gave us throughout these 400 plus years in this country, yet we won't denounce
color,
black, the color construct, black and white. That was originated in order to separate the elite class, right, from the slave working class. So why do we still want to keep that? Why do we still want to call ourselves that? Because soon as you speak it, just like we talk about, speaking and thinking things into existence, as a man thinketh, so shall he be. As a man speaketh, so shall he be. You speak that, you put it into the ether. You are taking what the original definition of it was and how it was designed, and you're putting it into the ether as soon as you do that. And as opposed to just saying, I am a man first, or I am a woman first, then you put out black first. Now you let the whole room, you let the whole space, you let the whole everything, or wherever you are, know that you're that slave class. You're that working slave class first before anything else.
So that leads right into something. I'm going to give you all something if you're not known. You probably already heard. That's why I don't identify as color anymore. I was saying descendants of American slave, but now I have embraced the terminology freedmen. I am a freedman. Okay, I'm a descendant of freedmen, and I can articulate that. The reason why that's so important, because a lot of people, there was a Freedmen Bureau when, if Abraham Lincoln would not have been assassinated, okay, and it was able to fulfill his full term, the term freedman would have probably been the terminology that we would have been calling ourselves. So you have to ask yourself, somebody back then were very astute and realized that they needed to separate us and put us down, and I call it a rabbit hole. We were sent down a rabbit hole to keep us from our inheritance, our birthrights, and our birthplace. But I am proud to say that I'm part of an organization called FreemanNation.org that's trying to help us get back on track. So
Shout
if you
out to you about that as well. Yeah, Brother Arthur Watkins. Let me ask you something about that while we're on that topic briefly, and I don't want to get too far away from your book because you're the subject.
Oh, no. That Freeman, I done tied it into my, if you go to my webpage, I've already put it in my...
Right, on your site. But I do want to ask you something because there's been a little bit of drama on the timeline in regards to that.
Yes.
And not just, I'm not going to talk about things that someone said in another space that you and I were both in, but I've been seeing this copper tone conversation. Can you speak to that a little bit? Are you in agreement to that, or is that something that you've seen?
What's copper? Oh, the
so
pictures.
Brother Watkins has been, so he has been sharing this theory of us being that copper tone people, and we have that uniquely, he's saying, versus the people from anywhere else. And so he's saying our undertone, not like our skin complexion, but our copper undertone is unique to us.
Well,
I personally consider that to be somewhat paper bagging.
Yeah,
so
I do not. I saw that. I'm glad you brought that up. I saw it and I looked at it and I had to take card. Have you seen that? I had to look. It caused me to take a double look and take a double look. I'm going to be immediately say I don't agree with that narrative to us trying to promote. I think he needs to get away from that, because then we are buying right back into the color thing, and I don't want to. I just don't think that we should be going down that road. And I'm glad that you brought this up. I have his number. I'll probably be calling him tomorrow to ask him, what is that junk you doing right there? I do not agree with that. I think that is.
I'm glad to hear that from you, because I'm like hearing.
Because I'm my book.
I'm like, hey, and that's why I even put that in my intro of you. If you remember how I said how you reclaimed your identity as a descendant of American slaves and not just a label like Black, or shoot, even a so-called Uncle Tom. You know how these people have these labels.
Right.
But you said no. This is my label, and you have reclaimed that, and you have had the autonomy to claim that for yourself, as a grown man. So I'm like, hold on now. He's separating himself from this color construct, and his, a good partner of his is now starting to base things on a color construct.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I'm worried about that.
Thank you for it. I will handle that tomorrow, because we got good relationship. I saw it. I looked at it. I did a double take. I looked at it again. I read it. Like, what the hell is this? Okay. And I saw Freeman by it, but I ain't had time to talk about it. So you're the first person that actually brought, and I will get on top of that car. Have you seen that? Have you seen that copper tone?
Yes, I saw it, and I was shaking my head.
Yeah, okay. So I know. I was like, okay, what is this? Because and you're a very astute young lady to ask me that question, which is also, I'm gonna give you some props that you verify that I'm very not with the color. Anything that associate and try to box us into that, even us, we need to cut that crap out. All you doing and making yourself be inferior to something that we don't need. It's not. No, the terminology. If we're gonna identify ourselves as anything, let's go with the terminology that they were freeing our ancestors on in the very beginning. They were calling them freedmen. Why was it boxed up and put away? I believe, this is my own observation, I believe I'm gonna say it this way. This first time you're gonna hear me say it this way. I say it this way. I believe the dominant culture back then started realizing that, we give them this terminology, they're gonna go along and be able to exceed. Because think about what happened. They made a culture 3/5 of human. Okay, they decided to label us based on a color, and it took us down a rabbit hole that we never took claim of what we actually have. We have a birthplace and a birthright and an inheritance of the United States of America. The only way we can clarify and get that is that we got to claim our freedman status, totally away from color. I hope y'all receive it. Totally away from color. It has nothing to do. It's a lineage. It's totally lineage based. Okay, got nothing to do with color. Okay, when I found my great grandmother at 1862 under the Census Bureau, it said that she was she basically was a slave on a Georgia plantation, and it says because she was born before 1870, she is a freedman, meaning I'm a descendant of freedmen. You see how they just wipe out all color? That just wipe that all out, right? Wipe it all out.
But then you had those characters like Jesse Jackson in the late 80s that say we African American.
They were confused.
So we've been battling this a long time, and we never had the autonomy to do this for ourselves.
Right.
And I actually, even though I'm down with the FBA community as well, like I rock with that too. But at the same time, I understand the freedman concept because that's already been documented. I would be okay with going back to Negro because there's already documentation of that versus coming up with something different.
Right.
Like
I'm cool with the Negro. I'm okay with the Negro, but the reason why I'm leaning strong, well, I'm already a verified freedman.
Right.
I'm leaning strong that way because I'm a constitutionalist and I'm a legal person. Okay, it was already a legal terminology that we didn't come up with that. That was a legal terminology that the United States of America came up with on our ancestors, and they called them what? Freedmen. Okay, so we need to hold them accountable. See, this is the key, and I believe this. Okay. That's why I'm about to say something to you all that y'all ain't gonna have heard. I have never been so much happier or believing that an inheritance is in our destiny than ever before. I believe the concept of an inheritance is closer than y'all realize, and you realize and since I went to court and I understand this, when you use proper legal language in this country, in the United States of America, you will get the results of it when you use proper language and doing business in the United States of America. So the proper legal terminology, freedman, is the right terminology because it's not that we said that. The United States of America said we were freedmen, okay? They called our ancestors emancipated. They were freedmen. And so we have legal data documents to say, this is what you call us. Guess what, baby? This is where we're going with. And as Martin Luther King says, where's my check? Okay. Did that make sense?
Let me say this, Mishorn, to add on to what you're saying. It is very important for us as a people to realize the Constitution is a race-neutral Constitution.
Amen.
Therefore, anything that has a semblance to race is going to get shut down. Even the word lineage is going to get shut down. If a lineage is not tied to a status, you're going to get shut down.
Right.
If you say lineage based, it's going to get shut down because the dictionary said lineage is one of the synonyms is race. So if you say my lineage is tied to a status, which is freedman, then
race neutral.
but it has to be race neutral.
Right.
And I believe that the dominant society on purpose lost and abandoned that status that was given to our people as freedmen. 100 years later, they put us under the status of minority, but they added a bunch of other people groups to that status. They moved us from the freedman status and put us under the minority status. Again, one of those color constructs, but it was a status construct, which minority, which with other people group, and we lost out on the benefits and the legislation targeted to our people. So freedmen is so important. Again, I alluded to earlier that I unplugged from the race construct. I've been praying about this color construct recently to unplug from that and just stay with the status of freedman.
Amen.
I'm an American freedman, and that is my status. I'm a descendant of the emancipated, a descendant of the slaves. I am a freedman. I have a freedman status. And whenever I deal with anything that is political, anything that is constitutional or legislative, that is my status. I am a freedman, and I will be moving in that direction. I land there.
Amen to that, brother. Thank you so much. And we have a new speaker on stage, Brother Michon, the company. Brother, did you have anything to add to the conversation? Thank you for joining us. You go ahead and unmute your mic. I don't know if it's muted.
The company?
Oh, I thought it was on somebody else. Hello, everybody.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I said the company. I didn't know if you hear me. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I've been listening to space and stuff like that, and you guys are factual about the whole thing. We've been trying to tell people this fact for a very long time, for the last, I would say, 5-6 years, since 2018, well, actually before that, I mean, I started looking into the freedman status and stuff like that in 2016, when people started talking about it and it seemed more relative, at the time. And, I looked into it and, even traveled all the way to Oklahoma, traveled to Texas to meet other people that recognize themselves as freedmen and asked them. I went to also Illinois. They have a freedmen population in an old town out there in what's it called? It's near Joliet. I keep on forgetting the name of it. Yeah, and then South Chicago, Stony Island. That's an old.
I am happy to hear that. I'm hoping that people cutting you off, but we have a goal that we're trying to meet. We're trying to get everybody to go through freemannation.org and go ahead and get yourself registered as a verified freeman. The goal is, so for all of you, if you not, who's already a registered freeman on this right now? Who's about thumbs up? Who's a registered freeman right now?
I'm a registered freeman. I am.
Oh no, I haven't registered myself. The only thing that I have that would classify me, like I have census documents and stuff for myself because the university here has my family's records from Stagville Plantation. So the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill has my family's records already there, like in our.
So let me
like the actual registry.
No, let me qualify what I'm saying, okay? Because this registered freeman is not. I'm not just saying this. We have a trust now, okay? Registered freeman trust, okay? I want to make sure you get your name in the trust, okay? That's the key, because what we're looking to do is that through freemannation.org, okay? go and find out and get your name in the trust. You go find your genealogy. If you got all your genealogy information, everything, and you can upload it and put it in the trust. You want your name in the trust. Here's the reason why. And I'm proud to say this. This is why I said I never thought that I'd be living this time to say that I think that we are closer to ever determining our own self-governing. Self-governing. Let me say it again. Self-governing. And I'm gonna say it in the manner they need to say it as an elder. Bottom line is, we've been waiting on the United States of America, the dominant European culture, to do right by us. They had the opportunity through saying that this is a Christian nation, a Catholic nation, to do right by us. We've been asking them to do right by us. We've been showing them what they should do right by us. But time and time again, they have decided not to do right by us. But all the time, we recently, just out of this politics, they will give and find ways to find money for everybody else, but yet to determine that those that was offended and mistreated based on the color of their skin and whipped and lynched and humiliated and the worst inhumane things that have occurred on this soil of the United States. I ain't talking about nowhere else. I'm talking about on the soil of the United States of America. The dominant European culture, who calls themselves a Christian nation, has yet to do right by us by the way that they do it. Free will, knowingly they have caused harm. What I love about the freemannation.org, we are self-governing ourselves. We are organizing and want each and every one of you, if you think that you are descendants of American slave, get yourself registered. Find if you have a family member born before 1870, and check this out. AR technology is your friend now. This is the best time to be an American with the AR technology. AR technology, I'm going to say it again, is your friend, okay? Because now I did it myself. I put my mother and father's name in there. I put my mother and father parents' name in there. In the Census Bureau, because of technology, found my born in 1862 grandmother at 64. I didn't even know I had, and found her because AR technology is our friend now. Okay, let me say it. AR technology is our friend, and and then not only that, it says the U.S. Census has acknowledged that she is a freeman because she's born before 1870. Ding, 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 ding. The system says she was born before 1870. I am a descendant of freemen. That's my status moving forward. Now, with that being said, what are we looking to try to do? We're looking to go after every known corporation that has made money off our ancestors. They already established. Some of them are $1 billion and $1 trillion companies that historically they would not be in existence today if it wasn't off of the back of our ancestors. Guess what we're going to do? The records is already know, the data is already here, because what? AR is our friend now. Y'all hear me? AR is our friend now. We can now petition them and offer them a trust to donate voluntarily hundreds, millions, or whatever they want to put into. And it's already thousands of companies, business already established. How big you think that trust is going to be?
Can I finish my submission real quick? 2 minutes. Like not even 2 minutes, probably like less than.
Well, let me get this last day. How big you think that trust going to be? It's going to be bigger than. Hold on. It's going to be bigger than any reparation thing you go after. Okay, and everybody who's a registered freeman in the trust, you will receive a check from that the rest of your life until you pass away. So how soon should you be looking into wondering if you're a freeman? Maybe when you get off this phone call with me, like as soon as possible. Go ahead.
Okay, like you were saying, it's very imperative that we set up these trusts and stuff like that and get them to, you know, work together. Plus, you know, with the amount of money that we can put within these trusts and stuff like that, it's a lot of leveraging power that we could use to go
Political leverage power.
trying institutions that
Yes.
we have problems with. So that's the urgency, is to sign up and do whatever you can do
To get in the trust.
because, you know, it's money that we can leverage for lawyers and you know, things civilly done through the courts.
Right.
We can hire lawyers and stuff
Right.
like that.
We can become our own lobbyist institution by under the trust as freedmen. We'll never have to listen up. I'm glad to say that I believe that I'm going to see something. I've never thought I was going to be around to see it, but I'm excited to believe that I'm going to see that. So I'm going to say this, that we're trying to get over 10,000 or more registered as people in the trust before the end of this year. We want to go into 2026 popping our collar with a whole new attitude of who we are. And every single one of you can assist us with doing that. Go ahead, boss lady.
I'm so sorry. The conversation jumped, so I kind of forgot what I was going to say. But I am a registered, a part of the Freeman Nation.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I deal with Arthur Watkins.
What's your name?
I'm not gonna say it on Spaces, but are you in the community?
Yes, I'm in there too.
Okay, you'll see I have my tag name next to my profile picture, so it says Boss Lady next to it.
Oh, all right, I go there because mine says Uncle Michon by mine.
Okay. All right. So when you go back into like the app or the
I go look you up and I'm gonna become friends with you then. All right.
Okay. But as far as Arthur Watkins, like that's what I wanted to say. So I feel like going off of what Uncle Michon was just saying, I feel like the white Americans here in this country are not the only person we should sue. I feel like under Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution, under the legislative branch, we Black Americans, and I might wake this up and I might have some a little tension here, but we should declare war on West Africa for causing all of this shit. And we have every means to do so. And they say how Black Americans, for us to get reparations, must be studied. Well, we have a lot of information out here that shows that Africa was doing some greasy shit, excuse my language, and we have every means, morally and socially, we have on every ground, we have that information and evidence to declare war on them. West Africa, we need to declare war on West Africa.
So it's not a pushback. I'm not going to say it's a pushback, but I'm a military guy, and my attitude is this here. You know, let's handle our business on the soil of the United States of America. We gotta get this. Handle this business. We gotta handle here, and we see what that looks like after we get this done. Because I don't want to put the horse before the cart and everything. It's been a long time that I can say with a sense of confidence that the concept of an inheritance is potentially possible for us. And then I'm going to go a little biblical and say, what God has for us, then we need to take authority of what God has for us right here. We are the United States of America. What people meant for evil, some people are turning over in their graves right now to know that we have positioned ourselves to leverage ourselves to get to where we about to go. So that's where I'm at. I agree. I have no argument with what you're saying, but I believe this. Let's focus on where we at right now and get this business taken care of. Hey, Carl.
Yeah, great. In my lifetime, I see a way for our people to get redress, to get remedial remedy. Freedman status is that way.
Amen.
I don't care what you call yourself, all the little acronyms, the ABC, the XYZ, whatever organization that you are with that has race or has something in it besides Freedmen. All the organizations are to get behind the Freedman status and stop fighting people who are repping Freedmen.
Right.
Because Freedmen is the status to move forward to get our redress. We need to build the Freedman status because the minority status is going to be dismantled.
Yes.
It's going to be dismantled just like affirmative action,
Yes.
just like DEI,
Yes.
just like all these other programs are being dismantled, but they cannot dismantle Freedmen.
They cannot dismantle Freedmen. Say that again. Say it again.
They cannot dismantle Freedmen. Even the white Republicans cannot push back on Freedmen. They can push back on race.
They can push on all those other
on
ones.
Black.
Yeah, right.
They can push back on all that, but they cannot push back on Freedmen because you utilize Freedmen in the 1860s
There you go.
and the 1870s.
That's right.
So my push is to restore and reclaim the Freedman status. That is my life mission.
You're right.
I'm not trying to defend Negro. I'm not trying to defend Black. I'm not trying to defend FBA. I'm not trying to defend ADOS. I'm not trying to defend all them little acronyms. I'm focused on the Freedman status and how we can build the Freedman status. Last but not least, what Arthur Watkins did was genius. To start a trust. Now, the trust has nothing to do with the government.
Nothing.
Those that are trying to get reparations through the government. It has nothing to do with that part, but it's so needed for us to build our own infrastructure.
Yes.
To build our own infrastructure with our own people so we can go against the corporations, the institutions, the organizations, everyone who owes us an inheritance off the back of our people. So again, thank you for your time, and I'm going to land there.
Yes, thank you so much for that. And I'm glad y'all brought that up because not just in the so-called United States, but I think we need to get specific. We need to start going, JP Morgan Chase, Aetna, New York Life Insurance,
General Motors, a Cadillac.
Yeah.
You know the story how the Cadillac was saved by our people.
Exactly. Those are the people we need to be going. Bank of America, even.
Bank of America,
like that, because they're
Prudential.
Now today.
What about the Ivy League colleges?
There's so much. So it's like we need to put all of those things, all of those entities. It's us versus everybody.
That's right. Paperwork. So I think
and
I'm excited about that.
And there's many even constitutional amendments that could support our claim for repair. There's many codes that we could look up or other cases that we could look up to tie into that to say, hey, this is what we're owed and this is why.
It is so wide open.
From everybody, because they saying we don't got the money, but these companies got the money by themselves.
I want to hear that nonsense.
Companies like Tiffany and Company got the money to pay us by themselves.
We got corporate. We got $1 trillion companies and everything is operating with a surplus. Did you hear it? But it's called surplus. You know what I'm talking about? Well, listen up, ladies. I'm an older guy and everything. We're gonna have to put a time limit on that. How long we gonna be here?
Yeah, look, I didn't even realize it had gotten so late. Look, my house got quiet. I wasn't worried about it. My husband had dinner right before we came on. And my husband put the baby to sleep, and I said, okay.
I want to thank you all for making this happen, and I'm hoping that we can do this more. Again, I think we need to do, and I'm okay with you all doing a part 2, okay? you know,
We're
and
gonna have
yeah,
to. That
you,
new book is coming, so make sure you put that
yeah,
drop up there again. And you said the new book is called again. What for the recording?
I Am Messiah.
Dropping when?
The Christmas season 2025.
Will you
So
be doing
I ain't got
pre-orders?
maybe. I'm waiting right now. I'm waiting for them to come from production. It just went into production. Everything is approved and everything that's in production. So once I get that first order production, then we can talk about
Okay,
pre-orders. But right now,
perfect.
it just went into
Okay, well, I
production.
definitely encourage you to do that. That's a good way to go ahead and get the buzz going and
Well,
do a good rollout. I love a pre-order.
yeah, but the deal is that, and my wife was talking about this, and she said, my wife's like, you ain't even got the first book out. I said, yeah, but very more credible authors than me who said, Misha, your book is so important, but no one really gonna take you serious, okay, until they realize that you're not just a one book wonder, a one
Exactly,
book hit.
exactly.
And then
And
he
don't
said,
stop
then you
writing.
can.
Keep it consistent. Keep us coming
Well,
with content.
I can't believe that I'm about to tell you that I'm even thinking about a third book. I mean, Lord, I never would have thought that I was thinking about a third book, but yes, I already got a third book in mind. But I'm promoting this book as it's impossible for you to read my new book if you have not read my first book. You like that? You say I'm doing that? If you ain't read the first book, you're not going to be quite astute enough to read I Am
Yeah, they're
Messiah.
gonna
Do you
have
like
to
it?
understand. And but I know it's getting late. I want you to be able to go, but I know the company has his hand up. Did you have a question for him or anything else to add before he headed out the company, or did you want to talk about something
Yeah,
else?
I just wanted to know if you guys were going to talk more about Oakland Automotive and the Black American Automotive Company that came out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, sold to Pontiac or changed into Pontiac to GM after the Tulsa race riots. And I always wondered, do you think that GM had anything to do with that race riot, just so that they can buy out all the black conventions and everything that was being produced out of Tulsa?
You know what? We're gonna save that for another
I was gonna say that
conversation.
sounds like a whole other space, brother company. I just
Yeah,
followed
yeah.
you, and me and Boss Lady can definitely set that up because we've been discussing a lot of topics. We want to do this more consistently and actually have some real hard hitting spaces, not just like chaos or drama, anything like that. We want to
Right.
really
Yeah. Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
about something and get some real information out there. So I
Substance.
really
It's called
appreciate you.
substance and content. Yeah,
Absolutely. So I
substance and
certainly
content.
appreciate you,
Yeah.
brother Mishorn, for sharing. I'm sorry, Uncle Mishorn, as he's affectionately known, okay, all around the world. This brother has really, really put it down with this book. Y'all need to get your copy. There is a 99¢, I'm going to say it again, 99¢ audiobook version. Just click that link that's in the first slide up there in the jumbo. Please support this brother, y'all. The book is not even that long. It's less than 6 hours. You got that kind of time. You sit down and watch all kind of stuff for that long throughout your day. So you got the time to listen to it. It's not a hard read at all. It's not a hard listen. I'm not even an audiobook girly. And with my Apple books, it was a breeze. Like literally, it's like every chapter is like 20 minutes, nothing major. You're gonna get through it in no time, but you're gonna be taken through a journey. Okay, it's gonna take you all down and through there and back around emotionally. So this is important. I want y'all to really get into this, and I really thank you so much. I apologize for all the technical difficulties in the beginning. I don't know what was
No,
going
it's
on
all
with
good.
Spaces. We could have had many
Hey,
more people in here.
if Joe is still there, I like for Joe to close us out with our little handle and everything. He does it so well. We got a little jingle that we do and everything on our show. And so since this is I Ain't Joe Black, okay, podcast that we did it on your show, go ahead, and if y'all ready to close with
Buffett,
Boss
did you
Lady,
have anything else to add? Or I know Miles had
Yes,
made
I
a
want to
reaction. I
just
didn't know if he was at his mic or not, but if he's not, Boss Lady, you can go ahead and say what you can say, and then I'm good to go. I thank y'all.
Yes, I just wanted to promote the next space that me and Premore will be doing, and it's called Why Can't We Focus? The Black Short Attention Span.
You know what? I got a gift for you. I'm an acronym person. So you want to know the acronym for focus?
Lay it on me.
Follow one course until successful. Both of y'all hit 100 at the same time. Did you like that? I used to have the Focus Show. I had over 169,000 people listening to me on Blog Talk Radio, and it was called the Focus Show. The acronym: follow one course until successful.
Amen to that. And Brother Joe, if you want to go ahead and close us out.
Hey, I just want to say, man, this has just been awesome. Absolutely. When it comes to I Ain't Your Black, this is a podcast that offers healing, insights, and epiphanies, discussing and reviewing everything others are afraid to talk about. It's all about what is right for us. I ain't your new black. I ain't your old black. I ain't your future black. America, I ain't your black. And it's Mr. Just As Joe and Uncle Meshorn. Hey, we're going to see y'all next time. Tomorrow we'll be in our space, same place, same time.
7 o'clock?
No, hold on. No, that's right. Today is, is today Wednesday or Thursday?
Today's Wednesday.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna do it tomorrow, 7 p.m., same place, same time on the I Ain't Your Black space. So y'all will see that link pop up.
Thank you, boss lady, and thank you, Pray More. Appreciate y'all.
You're welcome, brother. Thank you so much, y'all.
And find me within the Freeman Nation.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna get off.
Get ready for I Ain't Your Black. This is the podcast that offers healing, insights, and epiphanies, discussing and reviewing everything others are afraid to talk about. It's all about what is right for us. I ain't your new black. I ain't your old black. I ain't your future black. America, I ain't your black. And now, the host of I Ain't Your Black, Mr. Just As Joe and Uncle Meshorn.
Man, you love causing trouble.
Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other.
When black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough
Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other.
When black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough
Bye.